Okay, let's look at the difference between used to and would. Not only the difference, but really how to use them. How to use used to and would, how they're different, how they're the same. Now this would is not like the would you like some coffee? That's an entirely different use of it. This would is used when talking about actions that happened in the past. Both used to and would before a verb, when talking about the past, talk about things that you did in the past that you don't do anymore. Now, it can't talk about a single action in the past, something that happened one time, at one time in the past. It talks about either a state of being or multiple actions in the past that you don't do anymore. Let's look at some examples. She used to jog in the morning. Okay, now the used to here shows that the action happened multiple times in the past, but now she doesn't jog anymore, or at least she doesn't jog in the morning. Maybe she doesn't jog at all, maybe she now jogs in the evening, you're not sure. But she doesn't jog in the morning anymore. She used to, but now she doesn't. Okay. When I was a child, I would watch cartoons on Saturday morning. Okay. So now here we have would, and would shows that this action, watch cartoons, happened in the past and doesn't happen anymore. It happened in the past when I was a child on Saturday morning, but because I'm using would watch cartoons on Saturday morning, it means that I no longer watch cartoons on Saturday morning, which you could probably guess. But yeah, so it means it's not happening anymore. We used to live in LA, and we would go to the beach almost every weekend. Okay, so now here I use both the used to and the would in the same sentence. So let's take a look. So here we go. Used to live means that we don't live there anymore. And would go to the beach almost every weekend means that now we don't go to the beach almost every weekend. Or at least that we no longer live in LA and therefore we don't go to the beach in LA every weekend. That's something that we would do before, when we used to live in LA. Now let's look at there's a couple more things that are different, a couple extra details we need to talk about. Alright, so when is only used with obvious actions, right? Like walk, jump, eat, play, watch. It's not used with states of being, for example, live, used to live. You could not say, we would live in LA. No, because that's not an obvious action to live somewhere. Also can't use it with like or have, the verb have. We would have, not really. It has to be more obvious actions. And also, would needs to really have something to clearly show that we're talking about the past, whereas used to doesn't need that. The first example, she used to jog in the morning. If we changed used to with would, the sentence really wouldn't make any sense. She would jog in the morning. We need to make it clear that we're talking about the past. Because I guess maybe you could say she would jog in the morning if she if she could get up early enough. She would jog in the morning if she didn't go to sleep so late. So there's other meanings, other usages of the word would. In that case, we're not talking about the past anymore. So we have to be very clear if we're going to use would, talking about an action that happened in the past that doesn't happen anymore, that it's clear that that's what we're doing. So we have to mention that, we have to make it clear that we're talking about an action in the past. And that's pretty much the difference between would and used to. Also, would sounds a bit more formal, a bit more polite, a bit more, I don't know, yeah, a bit more formal probably would be the best way to say it. So those are the differences. Used to really has no kind of restrictions, no special uses where it can't be used. So if you're not clear about which one to use, probably go with used to. Let's look at some examples just to kind of clarify it a little bit more. Some examples. She used to would have a cat. All right, so here, once again, we can't use would because have is not really an action verb. So used to works because used to can be used with non-action words, states of being, whereas would needs to really have some sort of action to use it, to talk about actions in the past. So in this case, you could say, she used to have a cat. I used to or would like He-Man. I don't know if anyone even remembers He-Man, but when I was a kid, I used to be a big fan of He-Man. It was a cartoon with some big muscly guy with a sword, and I remember I went to see the movie, and anyway, so I used to really like it. Now, once again, cannot use would because to like something is not really an action. And therefore, used to is okay, but would doesn't really work with it. But this one here, would does work. I would go fishing in the lake. Okay, now go fishing, that's an action. Yeah, definitely, it's definitely an action. Would works here. But remember what I said, when it's not perfectly clear that we're talking about an action in the past, we have to really make it clear if we're going to use would. So in this case, I would have to say something like, when I was a child in my hometown, I would go fishing in the lake. Okay, in that case, it's perfect. No problem. You can use would with no problem. Also, it sounds very polite, very formal, would. I would go fishing in the lake, and I would skip rocks off the pond with my brother. And we would play and laugh and eat lunch next to the lake. Would. It's perfect use of would. Okay, so we looked at the differences and the similarities between would and used to. And like I said, used to is a bit easier to use. If you're not really sure, go ahead and use used to. If you feel confident using would, go ahead and use would. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you got any value out of this video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to this channel and click the bell so that you get all of the notifications. I'm back now. I'm going to try to do one video a week. And so make sure you click that bell to make sure that you'll get the notifications of my weekly videos. If you know anyone who you think would benefit from watching this video, share that video with them. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video.